Hello and welcome to the Rest is Football live stream with Micah Richards is back, Alan Shearer and me, Gary Lineker. I think people, before we start talking about the game, will want to know where you were on Friday night, Micah.
Well,
He hasn't got a clue.
Alan, leave me alone. I'm on a holiday. It's an international break. And I don't never get a break during the season. So I thought I would go to Dubai for internationals. And then I ended up at Ocean Beach in Dubai. Oh, my Lord. What a place. It was heaven on earth. I had a few drinks.
I think there might be a relative or two of mine involved in that, Micah.
Let's just say I had a lot of fun, but honestly, I needed the break, lads. I've been flat out, but I'm here. You know what time it is now? 2:00 in the morning, and I'm still here for you guys. I couldn't make Friday because it wasn't because I didn't want to see you. I had internet problems, so
yeah, right. Oh, we believe you.
Did I see you with the Newcastle players, Micah?
Yes. Let's just say I bumped into a few. I don't kiss and tell, but Trippier was there, and I seen Big Pope there, and they was having a wonderful time, and rightly so. There was buzzing. I seen like a group of them, and I didn't want to be that sort of groupie that goes over and all that, but as soon as Trippier saw me, give me a big hug and all that. He was saying, "Look at me now. You got me out the team at Manchester City, and I've won the league in Spain. I've played for England. I've done all these things now. I've won for Newcastle. I'm having a time of my life." I was like, "Relax, Trips. I've got you back. I love you so much. There's no animosity between us,
I would hope
He's
not.
got a lot to thank you for, eh, Micah?
Of course he has. Always comes back to me, doesn't it? Always comes back to me.
He's not as bitter about you as you are about Pablo Zabaleta.
Guys, come on, please. Why do we have to get Zabaleta involved? We're talking about me and Trippier right now. Just leave Zabaleta out of this. We know that he's ruined my career, he's ruined my life, but just leave.
Anyway, England tonight. That's second game, obviously, under Thomas Tuchel. And obviously they played Albania and now Latvia. So sterner tests will be forthcoming, that's for sure. And it's hard to read too much into these games because you've got a team that are sitting very deep the whole game, just trying to limit the damage that England could do against them. I thought there was a slight improvement from Friday night. I thought they moved the ball quicker. I thought they pushed the fullbacks in a little, played the wide men very much wider. Thought what was missing was probably the final ball and the crossing on a lot of occasions, and missed a few chances as well. But overall, I thought there was some good performances in there. And, I think with those games, there's a tendency to think, well, you should just steamroll them and win 6, 7, 8. But it doesn't always work like that. They could easily have done that if the final ball had been better. Thoughts, Alan?
Could I just
go on, Michael.
As strikers, when you played against a team in a low block, they played really deep. How hard is it to play against that? Because spectators, fans, everyone involved in the game, you look at the opposition and you said we should be steamrolling them. And at times, we could do better, like you said, in wider areas with delivery. But in terms of your movement, when there's so much people around, how hard is that?
Yeah, it is. It's difficult, Mike. I don't care who you're playing against. If they're reasonably well organised and get numbers behind the ball, then even if you get an early goal, it can be difficult if they're disciplined and doing it right. But I thought it was a bit of a hard watch for about an hour. I did. We got into some really good positions. Worked the ball really well to get in there. But I thought our final pass and our finishing at times up until the last 20 or 25 minutes when he brought changes on, and it was inevitable that the opposition was going to tire, which this is what happened. I mean, I think we had something like 27 efforts on goal, which should have been more if our final ball had been better. But we've played in these games. We know how hard it is, and yes, I'm sure. I've not seen any interviews from the manager, but I'm sure he'll say the positives were another clean sheet, albeit it took an unbelievable free kick for England to break them down. One or two again positive performances. Reece James, I thought, looked really comfortable and scored, as I said, a fantastic goal. Eze, when he came on, looked really good. But yeah, it's the standard of the opposition in the last two games. We were always going to beat them, but it was how we were going to beat them. And I thought it was okay. I wouldn't get too excited about anything. It was as much like I expected, I think.
Yeah, I think that's right. And answering your question, Micah, as a striker in those circumstances, the main problem is when a team's entrenched in their own box, there's obviously less space for you to attack as a forward, but you've still got to try and do it. So you've got to kind of just move players one way and then dart in the direction where you think the cross might go. Now, I've explained this before, but goal scoring, it's mathematical. It's the law of probability, really. The more times that you keep making those runs in there and finding a little space wherever it is, if the ball does come to you, you've got an easy tap in. And people will often say, well, he did nothing all game, but he had a simple tap in. They might say that about Harry Kane tonight. But, Harry kept moving. He kept trying to find a little gaps and, he nearly got on the end of a couple of things. And eventually he did find a little bit of space at the far post and everyone, well, it's an easy goal. Yes, it is. But, he's found that little space. And you've got to keep going. You've got to keep going. And sometimes you need to be patient because it can be frustrating in those circumstances. It's sometimes easier when you're playing against a really good team because, they commit men forward and therefore there's more space on the counter attack. There wasn't much of that tonight. So it's a different sort of experience for a striker. But
you also need help from your teammates as well for them to shift other players around. An ideal example of that was Declan Rice's run for Harry's goal. The run from midfield in behind, which he didn't do really until Bellingham went off. But it was a magnificent run and a great cross for Harry's tap in. But that's what you also need is movement off other players to shift defenders around.
Are we a little bit too fixated with the fullback going inside? Because when Louis Skelly was going inside, he was very comfortable on the ball, but it was very congested in there. So when Rashford had the ball, I know why they do it. They're trying to pull a player out so Rashford can become one-on-one with the defender. But that was never the case. He always had sort of two players out there. I would like to see fullbacks mix it up from time to time where he's made an underlap, so Rashford goes really wide. He goes and takes the player back that way. Or the old-fashioned overlap as well, because you talk about the movement, and I just thought at times it's very frustrating when a team is set and he can't get anywhere around them. I was completely right, and I was going to say the exact same thing. It took Declan Rice to make that. So there was in the mid-block, and then he realised the space to move the ball a little bit quicker, and then the space opens up. And if England want to hurt teams more, that run from the midfield is going to be key as well, I think.
No, it's a really valid point. Although I did think both Louis Skelly and Reece James, I thought they performed really well. And what I did like about the game when they were in those positions, whether you can argue about whether they should be wider on certain, perhaps more often like you did, but I did think both of them looked to pass forward and break the lines that way.
Correct.
And they hit some really nice firm passes into the likes of Bellingham and Kane and Rodgers at times. And I think that's obviously something that worked. And I thought they moved the ball a lot quicker tonight than they did on Friday night, generally. But again, with this kind of opposition, it's not what you're going to face if you go deep into a tournament. And I think the slight concern is because of the group that England have got, they're not going to face top opposition. So I wonder how Tuchel will address that, whether they'll try and get friendlies against, perhaps some of the big nations of world football, because it'd be a bit. I mean, whether it makes that much difference, we won't find out until there's a tournament. You could say that teams that play at home, they obviously don't have to qualify and they have similar issues, but they will organise 1 or 2 friendlies against probably really top opposition. And I think England might need to do that if there are gaps in the football calendar, because it's a very full football calendar. Yeah,
that'll be the hard thing. And you mentioned Bellingham there. He was fortunate to stay on, wasn't he?
He was a little bit, yeah. He could easily have had 2 yellows.
Could easily.
He's very competitive, Jude. So it's probably a wise move to take him off.
Well, they got a yellow card later. I think it was about 89th minute. They got a yellow card, which I thought was actually less than Bellingham's foul when he could have got the other one. So, yeah, he was slightly fortunate there, because that probably should have been another yellow.
I just want to give a quick shout out to Harry Kane. I know we've talked about Harry Kane, and we talked about him in the Euros a lot, about his maybe lack of mobility at times. And I think you said in the Euros, guys, that he's definitely carrying something. And this season, although he had a little bit of a, let's say, a lull at Bayern when he said he was only scoring penalties and whatnot, but his movement around the box is still sharper than ever. Yes, he can't run in behind. And this is what we were saying in the Euros. And I don't always want to flow back to the Euros, but it was, when he played, you talk about top opposition. We felt as though they didn't have the runners. I think even though with, say, like a Rashford, at times it can be frustrating because he gets in good areas and doesn't put good quality into the box at times. But when he's got the pace and he's got runners going the other way, you can see Harry Kane's game a lot more. And his movement and how intelligent he is. And the things I like the most about Harry Kane, he's touching, when he take, and with 2 strikers here, the time it takes him to take a touch and get his shot off before the defender can set. And I'm just looking at him thinking, wow, some of the shots that he gets off is just incredible at the time he manages to do that as a defender. That is so hard to defend against,
It's actually an all-round game. Is superb. He just, he does lack a yard of pace in terms of getting behind people. But if he had that as well, blimey, God, he's an exceptional finisher. I know he had 1 or 2 chances tonight that didn't quite happen for him, but his understanding of where he is and his finishing and his all-round game, and when he does drop a little bit, it's hard for anyone to drop deep today because you're entrenched so deep. But I think his all-round game and his passing and his intelligence and the way he can play he is world class. We're very lucky to have a striker like that. But you're absolutely right. What was missing in the Euros, we didn't have people running past him. So he's going deep. We couldn't get out of our own half. So you've got to think about that. And I think, Tuchel's obviously an astute tactician. You can already see that's what he's looking to do. I mean, it's hard to do that all the time against a team that deep, but you could see he wants players wide, he wants going at them, he wants players to run beyond Harry Kane. I mean, he's had him at Bayern Munich, so he knows exactly what's required.
Yeah, totally agree. I'm just looking through some of these comments here.
I'm not getting them through here, so I'm gonna. There's one here.
Enzo Konza has to be #1 centre back. He's been excellent, hasn't he, guys?
Yeah,
I think he's done brilliantly. There's one here actually from Riaki, said he thought that Reece James reminds you of Big Meeks. Just started coming through on that. But you're right about Konsa. Konsa, I thought, was exceptional. I think really comfortable on the ball as well and defended really well. He stepped up and he's done what you have to do if you get an opportunity. We talked about, didn't we, Alan, on Friday night, that if, players at the moment, you've got a new boss in charge, you're going to get a little run for your money. You've got to make it happen. I thought he did.
He's been a standout in the 2 games, I think, without doubt. He's been a big plus. And
well, Jack Richmond says, "Can we appreciate Ezri Konsa? The guy's a Rolls Royce." Well,
I mean, he's done really, really well.
Really well.
He's stepped up and he's taken his opportunity.
Yeah, and it is a position that we're obviously slightly concerned about going for a while now. And the question for David Ross: who's your ideal centre back pair? And if all fit going into the World Cup, I mean, it's 16 months away, but I mean, Konsa and Gay, I would say, that started tonight. I mean, Gay had a couple of wobbly moments, but he was really good in the Euros. You've got to remember that, and he's been brilliant for Palace after a slightly shaky start to the season, which was possibly understandable. Coming back, they came back late after playing in the Euros, so I think those two are probably in prime position at the moment.
Are we talking about fully fit though? Because John
Well, that's what it
Stones
said. That was the question. Yeah,
for England as well. You know, I would love to see Jared Brentford. I think he's such an exceptional young talent. I'd love to see him in this England side, but I probably can't argue with that at the moment. Gahey and Konsa look really.
I mean,
really
obviously, we have to mention if John Stones can get fit and stay fit, but he's really struggled with his fitness the last season or so. So, because he's a class act as well.
Yeah.
So, Joshua Arnold, do you think Jed Spence should get a chance in this England squad? He's doing really well. I think he's got to do it probably for a longer period of time before he breaks into the squad. And we've suddenly had an emergent, well, strongly, I suppose, decent fullbacks now at present.
Yeah.
Even on the left now, you've got, obviously Lewis Skelly. Lewis Hall at Newcastle will probably get an opportunity at some point. He's been brilliant for your lot, Alan, hasn't he?
I agree. I think it's really, really unfortunate that we're really strong in those positions. I mean, Kyle Walker came on. You got Reece James, you got Trent, and as you said, two really good left backs now. So I think we're all okay in that position. But he's having a good season, and I think it's right that he actually gets a mention. But whether he would get in ahead of those that we mentioned, I'm not sure. Not yet, anyway.
No, but he's making progress, and he's started to become a regular in the Tottenham side, and that's the start. And you see where he goes from there. What do we think of Morgan Rogers? I love the way he goes past players. Nathan Buckley just asked that very question.
Like him a lot.
Yeah, he's a class act, isn't he? Yeah. And I think he's different. The way he can beat players, the way he can roll players, and the way he's not afraid of the ball, but he's got the power, pace, and technique all married up together. I think he's completely different to what we have in the squad. So I thought he did very well tonight at times, but I would love to see him against another top team where he's got a little bit more space to open up and show everyone exactly what he can do.
Yeah, I think we'll be craving a game against really top opposition at some point in the near future. But given the nature of the England group, at the same time, it's nice to have a group where you fancy winning it. Because one thing you don't want to do is fail to qualify, because that would be disastrous football-wise. It would be awful. What about in the wide areas? Do you think? I mean, Rashford's come in. I thought, he had good energy. He was running at players. It quite happened for him, but on both nights probably.
That's one of the big things we can improve on massively. I think in the last two games is in those positions. Yeah, we did well to get into good, but the final ball, the cross or pass or whatever, finishing I thought was particularly tonight more so than the other night. I think we perhaps maybe didn't get in the areas as much the other night, but we did tonight. But our final pass and cross and all that, I thought was that needs a lot of work on.
Yeah, but that's actually, I think, less of a concern because they've got the technique to be able to do that. It just sometimes it doesn't quite happen. You don't get the delivery you want. But you've got players there that very good technique. Eze came on,
he's
caused a lot of problems, and he's got that little bit of magic that can create an opportunity. And he's obviously, it was a deflected goal, but it was a brilliant bit of skill that led up to it, wasn't it?
Yeah, but he's got that in an abundance, hasn't it? Eze, we've talked about him so much. He's such a brilliant player for Palace. Keep him fit. I think he's one of those players again where what's his best position? Probably in number 10.
We've got a lot of those.
And that's what I mean. We've got so many in that position. It's difficult, but he can do a job from the left as well. And I just like the way he's different. You know, Rashford's got the pace, a little bit of skill, but his trickery. He's not afraid to lose the ball in tight areas and go past him. I thought it took his goal, it took a little deflection, but just his balance in them areas is just, it's fantastic.
Yeah, you can see I saw his post-match interview on Friday night, Thomas Tuchel, and he was saying that what he wanted the wide players to actually go at players a little bit more. You did see that tonight, and you know, at times they got in really good positions, but it was just they couldn't find that final pass.
I think that's it, because the camera actually panned in on Tuchel, didn't they, when Eze scored the goal, and I'm pretty sure that's exactly what he was just saying to his assistant. You see, he went at him, got there, and got in the position for he's able to get his shot away, and albeit it took a deflection. So what? He's not bothered. He gets his first goal, so he'll be absolutely delighted. But yeah, I think he did. That's what he said the other night. He wanted more of that, but there was definitely more of that tonight. But it was just their final decision whether to dink the cross, whether to pick someone out, whether to whip it in, or whether it was just those decisions that need improving.
Yeah. David Layfield, is there anyone from the squad who hasn't played yet who you think may still break through? Well, he's saying MGW, that must be Morgan Gibbs-White. And he says he's glad you mentioned Hall too. Gibbs-White, kind of late call up, didn't get any minutes though. I saw one of the comments saying that's a joke that he didn't get any minutes. Probably a Forest fan, but I mean, I think he'll get opportunities if he keeps playing the way he's doing. That's for sure.
I think he will. I mean, he brought on Henderson late doors. He could have brought on Gibbs-White, couldn't he? Just to give him that a little bit of experience, and because he's fully deserved it. For Forest this season, he's been breathtaking at times. For full of energy, good quality, but it's something to work for. These are the first squad, first 2 games of the 2.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to show what they can do, but they've got so much time. I think I read a stat from Gareth Southgate's first squad. There was only 11 players who made the last tournament. You know, so it happens. And everyone will get their chance. Just got to make sure to keep doing it week in, week out.
Who told you that, by the way? Where did you get that information from?
Don't worry about my stats, Alan. Just because it's 2 o'clock here, I can still, my stats from somewhere.
After we've finished this, are you going out?
For it still been 2 o'clock. Have you just got in?
Yeah. Steve Pine is saying, is Adam Wharton the natural heir to Jordan Henderson?
Well, he's had injury and he hasn't played as much as he.
He's just come back, but he's come back very well.
There's no doubt. I mean, he's a really, really talented player, and he'll get his opportunity if he's able to stay fit, because he's a really, really good player. So there's definitely space for him. Yeah.
You can only play 11 though.
Yeah, I know that. But there's so many stills. Mike is right. I mean, we said it, didn't we? That this squad is his first, and it'll be nowhere near the squad that he picks in, 15, 14 months' time, whatever it is.
6, yeah. What would you have taken out of these 2 games, Thomas Tuchel? What would you think? I mean, it's difficult to say because you're playing against teams that are sitting so deep, but
yeah, but we said before, didn't we? I know we have to beat these teams, but it's tough to roll them over, right? And then he'll take the clean sheet. He'll take some positives. I mean, he'll take Reece James. He'll take Morgan Rogers to tonight. He knows that he's got Harry there, who will always score goals. So there are positives. There's no doubt, but there also say that there's room for plenty of improvement.
Did anyone else notice that the Latvia coach, Paolo Nicolato, looked like Thomas Tuchel's older brother? Every time I saw it, I thought, is that Tuchel? No, it's not. He's a bit, but they didn't half look alike. Lucy HW, do you think Ethan Nwaneri will be in the squad by the time we get to the World Cup? That's a very good question. He's another one, isn't he? That, I mean, I think he's not one in for the under-21s.
Yes, wonderful goal as well.
Great goal.
Took it on the in the pocket of space. Am I allowed to say that, Alan? Down the pocket.
Pockets
in
again,
the
is it?
half space.
You mean in the space?
He touched it. He turned. It looked like he was going to play one, come back inside and bend it on his left.
We've seen that. We've seen that with Arsenal already this season. The way he likes to jink that, go that way, and then come back in on his left-hand side and whip that ball in. And that was his goal for the under-21s, wasn't it?
Yeah, superb goal. He's got a real talent. I mean, Lewis Skelly as well. I mean, 18. I mean, so confident on the ball. He goes, you know, to ask to play that role and come in, and you just think, wow. I mean, he's so good and competitive and confident. Oh.
What is his actual age? Because I was looking up some. He's 18, isn't he?
18, I think.
Yeah, but I was looking to see if he was going to break my record for the youngest ever England defender, which I hope.
That's why you brought it up. He's just been waiting. He's been waiting for that, haven't you?
So were you younger?
Well, I don't know. If you guys would do your research, I mean, he scored younger than me, but I think I made my debut. I was younger than him. Yeah, but I don't like to mention it. You know.
Well, there's lessons for him to learn from your career then, Michael.
Yeah, don't go to Ocean Beach because you'll end up with two bellheads on a live stream at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Cliff Esmiol is asking, do you think Tuchel would play the same way against larger countries, with all due respect to Latvia and Albania, or do you see a much different tactical approach? It would be different. It would be slightly different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
it would be different.
Because you're playing against, you know, you're having different problems in the game, but you're also getting more space to counter-attack and things like that. I mean, he's very tactical, Tuchel. He's very, very astute in that area. And I think England has got a really, really good coach that I think will bring out the best. He will have the same problems as the previous incumbent in terms of who to select and where. And everyone will whine about players that are not in the team, which we have a tendency to do. And that's the same everywhere in world football. You know, why is he not playing? Why is he not playing? Well, the truth is there are so many good players, which is a wonderful position to be in. But, you know, you mentioned the number 10s. I mean, how many number 10s have England got? That are really good in that role. But it's hard to imagine any of them taking over from Jude Bellingham in there. I mean, he didn't have his best night tonight, Jude, but that's going to happen. But I mean, he's so good. I mean, he's a superstar.
There's no doubt. Yeah, but we go back to our original point. That's why this manager has been brought in, because he's been brought in to win the World Cup. That's the length of his contract. That's what he has to do. He understands that and realizes that. So. It's pretty simple in terms of he knows what he wants to do. It's not simple going out to win it, because it's going to be very, very, very difficult in the circumstances.
Question from Fleetwood Zach. Fleetwood Zach.
I like it. I like it.
Did what we had to do and won well. Great free kick from RJ, Reece James. Question, which international free kick was better? Roberto Carlos or Bex versus Greece? Roberto Carlos.
Oh, the bend.
Best ever. I mean,
Carlos,
I mean, Bex was more the moment, wasn't it? Because it fulfilled the qualification at that point, which was under threat, and it was just a wonderful moment. But I'd actually, in terms of technique, the Reece James one was absolutely brilliant, wasn't it? It's perfect. Yeah. But the Roberto Carlos one is just ludicrous. For those of you who perhaps haven't seen it, it's going back a few years. Was that in the Le Tournoi?
Le Tournoi, I think it was, Gary.
Yeah. But it was miles out. It was about 40 yards. He just bent it about 10 yards.
The last England team to lift a trophy, I'll have you know, Micah Richards.
Trophy, Le Tournoi. He's claiming that.
If you're bringing your record up for the England, I'm bringing the Tournoi up as well.
Darren McIntyre from Gateshead. Will Big Al be at the open top bus on Saturday? Is that happening? I didn't know that was happening on Saturday. Loves the pod. Thank you very much, Darren.
I'll be I'll be on the town moor. I'm not sure I'll be on the open top. That's I didn't do anything, so but I might be on the town moor, definitely, yeah.
Hold on, you didn't do anything. You've been milking it for the last week. I've seen videos on Twitter.
Yeah,
on
but you can't be on it. You can't be on an open.
What are you talking
I can't be
about?
on the bus when they've done it and they've gone and won it. So I won't be on the bus, but I'll definitely be on the town moor somewhere.
Yeah. When's that happening? Saturday.
Saturday, yeah.
Yeah. Haven't we got a game on Saturday?
Yeah, you have.
Oh, you're not doing that one?
No.
Brighton, Nottingham Forest. Are you doing Brighton, Nottingham Forest, Micah?
No,
FA Cup, I'm talking about.
Sunday.
You're doing Sunday.
I'm doing the Sunday game, yeah.
All right. I thought I should. I thought I should check. We'll call it a day there. Because Micah needs to go out. What's that? Is that a towel you're holding up there?
Yes.
Don't tell me that's because you're naked below it. Oh, I think. Oh my word! We better get off quickly before something drastic. This is a live stream. It's not an OnlyFans live stream either, is it?
I've got shorts on. I've got shorts on.
Oh,
For those who want to complain, all the jobs worse out there, and I said, look, I've got shorts on. Shorts.
All right. Sit down. Well, great to see you, Micah. Safe travels, and we'll call it a day there. Thank you very much for sending in your questions and your opinions, and for joining us. Much appreciated. And we'll be back with our usual. Actually, we're back. I think we're doing Sean Dyche. I interviewed, which was really interesting. I think that might be going out on Wednesday this week. So tune in for that one. But for now, goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.